Hi, I'm Travis Merrill, and today I want to talk about rhythm. Now, a great sense of rhythm is so important as a musician, and for me, it's for two main reasons. On the one hand, our pulse is what organizes all of our physical actions on the instrument. So we're timing all of our motions that we make with our fingers and with our bow arm to a pulse. And so that means the greater our sensitivity to the pulse, the greater our sense of rhythm, the better our coordination will be. So great coordination and great rhythm are inextricable. The second reason is that having a great sense of rhythm and a great sense of pulse makes you really easy to play with. In chamber music context or orchestra, I can always tell when I'm sitting next to somebody who's got a great sense of rhythm, and it's easy to play with them. One of the things I really struggled with as a student and as a young artist was being able to understand polyrhythms. Polyrhythms are when we have one rhythmic subdivision, say 16th notes, going at the same time as another one, say like triplets. My solution when I was younger was mostly just to kind of close my ears and stay in my lane, try and concentrate on my own pulse and not try and fit with the other person, just to kind of ignore it. And that can work in certain circumstances, but it feels much better to have a sense of how different rhythmic subdivisions fit together. And what I found is that by working towards that I felt much more comfortable playing, for example, in contemporary music settings, and I just felt better in general. Even in simpler rhythmic settings, my pulse felt a lot stronger. So the exercise that I love to work on this from comes from Ivo Jan van der Werf's book, A Notebook for Viola Players. Is a fantastic book. And the exercise is really simple, which is one of the things I love about it. You can memorize it very quickly and practice it anywhere without looking at music. It's very scalable in the sense that you can make it harder or easier depending on your level. And I'm going to talk about at the end of the video about how you can apply it in some different settings other than just this exercise. For the purposes of this demonstration and time, I'm only going to go through the first two steps of the exercise. So I'm going to start off with my pulse at quarter equals 40, and then I'm going to play a bunch of different rhythmic subdivisions. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my pulse at the eighth note, which would be 80. So my pulse doesn't change, but my subdivision changes. And by changing the subdivision, now I'll have a bunch of polyrhythms that are generated between the rhythms that I'm playing and the rhythm of the metronome. Let's get started. So that's the exercise, and in Ivo's book he goes farther. He goes to the triplet subdivision, so you get like 3 against 5, 3 against 7. So the triplet subdivision, you'd play 120 beats per minute. He goes to the 16th note subdivision, so you would be at 160 beats per minute. You get some more interesting subdivisions there. The other thing that he recommends, and that is a great thing to try for those of you that are still starting out on your rhythmic journey, is to take one pair of rhythms, like say you're having trouble going between triplets and sixteenths, to go back and forth between those two until you feel like you can really groove easily on both of those without any bumps. You can do that in the sense too of moving between farther subdivisions. You could jump, say, between eighth notes and quintuplets, or triplets and 30 seconds. You can also, if you want to make it harder, you can go farther. So in his book, in the second edition, he goes all the way, not just to 30-second notes, which is as fast as I played, he goes all the way up to 12s. So you can use that and scale it up if you want as well. I find just also the principle of this practice so helpful. In his book, he also shows how you can practice this in the context of scales. My own work in that area has really helped my sense of rhythm, while also providing a really interesting variation for scales that I've played a million times already. And I think the principle of this exercise you can apply just in different ways in your own playing. If you know you have a tricky passage where you're playing one subdivision and someone else in the group is playing a different one, this is a great chance to set your metronome so that you're playing against that subdivision. I recently just played a piece where the cellist was playing 16th notes, the violinist was playing triplets, and I was playing quintuplet eighth notes. And so to be able to set my metronome to one of those things and play against it gave me a lot more confidence when I played in the group that I was going to have a steady sense of the pulse and an understanding of how things fit together. So I hope you enjoy that exercise, and I'll see you next time.